the Atomic Camaraderie podcast is back. We can't think of a better reason to come back than to visit with our friends Adam Lawson and Keith Aram, co-creators of Wesley Snipes' return to comics with the smash hit called The Exiled. Edgar Paston, our man on the scene, talked with them from the floor of the 2022 San Diego Comic-Con. The Exiled is the 75th crowdfunding campaign for Inked Studios. Inked sponsors the NSC Roadshow. Let's get this party started with a bang.
All right, hi guys, this is Edgar coming at you live from San Diego Comic-Con. I'm here with Adam and Keith, co-creators of The Exiled with Mr. Wesley Snipes. Say hi guys.
Hey guys, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us here.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so what was your motivation for the whole project, Exiled? It's such a cool, epic looking and sounding project.
No, I think the motivation was if you can imagine 14 years ago, Keith and I had this idea for a graphic novel called Exile, and it was at Radical Comics, but then they fell apart and it never ended up happening.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, we were also at Comic-Con 14 years ago together with Wesley Snipes at that dinner at Radical Comics, because
nice.
He had a book there. And so obviously Keith and Wesley knew each other from Demolition Man days. They worked on the video game, but I think there was this idea when Keith and Wesley were talking that, hey, we want to do a comic book.
Yeah,
Wesley loves them, wanted to return to it.
Yeah, he was doing one at Radical, and that was actually really, really cool. It's after Dark, right?
Yeah, I think that's the case, yeah.
Very cool.
And then you were talking to Wes and he said, hey, Keith, I want to do a comic. And then you called me and said, hey, what about that Exile idea?
Yeah, and
we never got. And then I think it was the three of us came together, and then the story from what it once was became what it is now. Right. Adding the West ingredient.
And I think that's the best part about where the story is at, because what we originally started from that campaign is really the core of where the story is going. And so everything that everyone's been seeing with the campaign, what we've been doing with Kickstarter and the launch here at Comic-Con, is sort of the precursor to that story. So we're really excited to peel back the onion and kind of show people where the real core and the meat of the story is.
Very cool.
No, it's super exciting.
Yeah. So you never know what a dinner is going to bring you.
That's right.
You never know. And these things that you seem long buried, or projects or story ideas that seem like the dust has gone into fossilization, could still be it.
Well, as creatives, you're constantly coming up with new ideas and new stories, and so when we have a story that we're really attached to and really love, sometimes it's not the right time or the place to bring that out.
Right.
And so rather than just kind of bury that, it's a really good time right now, especially for creators, to work with companies like Whatnot and Kickstarter and other things to be able to get it straight to our audience.
Right. So that brings me to my next question. What is Whatnot?
So Whatnot is, there's two sides to think about it. There's Whatnot and there's Whatnot Publishing. So there's two different. So Whatnot is a live auction app. Imagine eBay, but people got on there streaming and are auctioning live.
Collectibles and other things, so the audience can actually directly buy straight from streamers.
Oh, that's very cool.
And they sell all kinds of things from every sort of walk of life of the collectible world. And so Whatnot Publishing, they said, hey, we need to open up a division where we have our own stories and our own creative, because they sell more comics than eBay, right? So they wanted to make their own stuff. So and
creators are starting to gravitate towards the platform anyway, because it's a perfect way for someone who can't get to a publisher or doesn't know how to publish their own book. Now they can go straight to their own audience, and if they're
they can have a sales section. Yeah.
And that's where I think that's the great, beauty of what's going on, that independent spirit. They say, well, now you can actually have a publishing company that works within that same context.
Right. And so then so Keith and Wes and I, we created the graphic novel, we launched it on Kickstarter. There were some press articles that Whatnot Publishing found, and then called us and said, hey, we're interested in connecting on this if you are. And that's what started it.
Yeah, there's a really good community, I think, just socially, that all the creators and artists and writers are already working together. So when someone is seeing what other people are working on, it's a really nice time to collaborate. And we got some mails over Facebook Messenger, and they're like, hey, what are you guys thinking about publishing? And we're like, well, if it works with our overall goals of the long term of what we're going to be creating.
Right.
And I think what's exciting, right, is because you do a Kickstarter campaign to offer something super exclusive, right? Which this book is. Super exclusive, 8.5 by 13. It's oversized. It's this cool thing. Has this rad sculpture if you're there listening, right? Or watching.
Zoom in a little bit on that guy. Look how big that guy is.
Yeah. And so,
beautiful piece. You can only get it on Kickstarter, guys. So if you haven't done it, do it now. There he is.
And then we've got a manga Go version of the book. So all of that is something that you're not going to be able to find anywhere in stores afterwards.
Awesome.
It's just for the campaign.
Oh, that's very cool, man. And that actually gave me chills, like hearing your story, because it's very inspiring. You know, you guys are doing something cool. Somebody notices, and you know, you start this thing. You know,
momentum builds, right? Like you throw something out into the world, and then the world throws something back.
Yeah.
And so it was really exciting because then with Whatnot, then what it allows us to do is do this special experience for the Kickstarter backers that's super exclusive, and you were there in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it will go to single issues next year, which then if you back the Kickstarter only makes what you backed more valuable as it gets into the market. But as far as also storytelling, what's exciting about it is it's kind of the way to make a story without rules, right? Or without a boss, so to speak, and telling what you love and you want to create,
right?
And dealing it with your own sensibilities.
Yeah, I think that creative pressure comes from us. Like we really want to tell a good story that connects with the fans. We have such a great connection with our audience that we want to make sure that they're really connected to the story where it's going, and that's where I think Wesley really appreciates that, because he obviously is an amazing talent and he's very connected to his fans. Right. And for us, Adam's already done several successful Kickstarters, so already have been familiar with sort of the world of people who have been crowdfunding, and I think now that you're seeing that turning into, coming into publishing, coming into not just graphic novels, but the whole Comic-Con sort of experience, you're starting to see people really bond with not just the creators, but also the properties that we're doing.
And actually, now that we were talking about exclusive stuff, what could you point us to that's exclusive to the Kickstarter that people can get now?
Oh,
aside from beautiful piece, yeah.
So you're saying what's exclusive to the Kickstarter in regards to?
Yep, most of these pieces will only be available through Kickstarter.
So there's a couple of things. One, there's inside the book, there's going to be some codes, some hidden codes in the pages that will unlock some digital collectibles. So that's an exciting thing that would just be exclusive to them.
Are we breaking into NFT territory there?
I think we are. And the idea of it being that it's about making something that creates value for the people who backed it, right? Like they get access for free to this item, and it creates this fun hunt and chase inside of the book.
And I think you're seeing a big movement, within the community for NFTs. I think there's an equal movement towards digital collectibles, where obviously the blockchain is a great way to validate and be able to sort of have uniqueness and have value to that, but also just the digital scavenger hunt of it all, to be able to find things and get collectibles that are still unique, but not necessarily just exclusive to the blockchain. Blockchain, I think, is going to be a great, fantastic, long-term sort of way to validate and connect everyone. And right now where you're seeing this cross between the analog and the digital, the artists who are doing things by hand, and all of a sudden going into the digital world, that's where I think NFTs are really going to have the longevity that's there. But from a creative standpoint, the idea of hidden codes and collectibles and other things, they have more value in a sense that as a unique thing that helps further the story or gives you something that's exclusive to you, regardless of where that value on the blockchain will provide. I think it's the storytelling element to say, I've got this really cool image that no one else has, and it's not necessarily for sale, but it actually is something that helps further our narrative.
Right. I think that's a great way to say it.
Yeah, that's excellent that it's all for the narrative. I love that. And thank you so much, guys, for being on with us today. I know you guys have to run off to your panel
right now. Yeah.
Well, tell us a tiny second about your panel. What is that about?
Yeah, it's called Wesley Snipes, The Exiled, and it's an opportunity for us to share the story, how it came to be, and our relationship.
And they're going to be joining us for the panel as well. But it really is a chance for us to really share our story of how not only what we're sharing with you, but also kind of our relationship with Whatnot and where the entire kind of production is going. And the exciting thing is that this is just the beginning, right? Our Kickstarter has just been going for the past 4 weeks, and even though it funded within the first 60 minutes, now we're at the point where it wraps up on Sunday, and now we're going to launch it into this great relationship for publishing the book and then going on to other mediums beyond this.
Excellent. So you guys heard it. There's less than a day left, but when this airs, so make sure you get to that Kickstarter soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, for
Thank you
having
so
us.
much, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
For more fun-filled episodes, come visit our website, www.comicrodery.com.